Ha sido un placer para mí ser sido invitado aquí a hablar de Fernando, mi amigo. I don't know Fernando as you know Fernando. I didn't meet him when he was a child. I didn't meet him when he was a teenager. I didn't meet him when he was an adult. I actually met him about 15, 20 years ago when he was already, which I thought a senior citizen. At least it looked like him, like one. So anyway, and I also happened to be his boss for the last 20 years. I don't know if you know that. But fortunately, or unfortunately, depending how you look at it, I have a lot of opportunities to share with him all kinds of stuff at work, primarily, but also outside work. I never, well, that's what I'm going to right now. You know, there are some issues that we never discussed because we recently retired, both of us. And I think this is a good time to do it. I got my list right here. All right, so let me see what I have here.
Oh my goodness. Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, Maria is also part of that team. Maria started working with, before I got there, she was already there. Then I came in. This is Santa Ana College, by the way. And then Fernando came right after Maria left, right at the same time. So it's interesting that we get to know each other, and I know everybody here, basically. For Fernando, how can I describe Fernando at work? I think the best word to describe him is a social butterfly. He was there, and then over here, and then over there, and over here. And as his administrator, trying to find out what he's doing, I would go see Fernando in his class, and I go, where's the teacher? And the student, oh, the teacher went to the bathroom. Oh, okay, I'll be back. I will go back to my office, sit down. I'll come back again.
The teacher.
Oh, the teacher got a phone call. Okay, I'll be back in a while. Then maybe the third or fourth time I go back to see him, someone said, oh no, he went to the office to turn in his attendance. Oh, okay. But I will catch him halfway coming or going. And I don't know what this is from, but he nicknamed me Millonario. For some reason. And I think it's because teachers think that we make more money than them, which is not true. But anyway. But he would see me far away in the middle of the quad, and he was in the very Cuban way, ¡Ay, millonario! ¡Ven para acá! That's so.
That's so you.
And all the other people from different ethnic groups go. But that's him, and I loved it. But then also, there was a restroom across from his classroom, and somehow he found out that I had a spare key on my file cabinet to another bathroom right far away from his office, from his classroom. He would come in and go, wait, don't want to go in. No. He would take my key with a big piece of wood. He would take it to the restroom, and then I would do all kinds of work, and then, hey, Fernando's still in the bathroom, or somewhere else. He would come back, and then he said, oye, you don't want to think about it, and he would sit down, tú sabes, oye, está la cosa mala en Cuba. And here I am doing emails and getting phone calls, and then he goes, oye, y Venezuela, ¿cómo se llama el tipo ese? El presidente está acabado. And then he will start another story, and I will go, sí, Fernando, sí. I'm on the computer. Y Fernando, ay, no, que tú sabes que vamos a ir a bailes de cosas en el club cubano. Entonces, I would get out sometimes and, Fernando, espérate, don't get out al baño. I would get the key that he brought back. I would run to the restroom, and I come back, and Fernando's like this. Oye, ahorita, que no sé tu cuento, no sé qué, cuento. And he would go on and on and on. And sometimes, I was saved by the bell. So I'm going to fess up now. My secretary and I had a sort of like an understanding that when someone took too long, she would come in with whatever she had. She would, excuse me, you have an appointment. It wasn't a real appointment. We knew to get rid of him. So I'm sorry if I did that a couple of times. I had no choice. That's why I don't make more money than he does. He's got more money than I do. So I'm going to relinquish my title to you, but for a different reason. Because you already won the lottery when you marry your wife. So I don't have a crown, I don't have a big dollar sign, but imagine that you have that one wearing, you wear that on your neck right now. But, okay, so it's a pleasure being here. It's been a pleasure working with Fernando because I had a pretty tough job, and every time he came, I knew it was gonna be fun. So thank you for coming to my office and making my life easier for those 20 years.
Thank you for hiring me, okay? Will you hire me?
Oh, I forgot it. That was a mistake, but you know. It was.
I'm the one who had the most students, remember?
Yeah, no, that's true. You were a very, very popular teacher, and you still are.
My classes were always full.
More students.
So anyway, I know that there are a lot of
And
people
I got
here.
jobs, so a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, I know, that's true. No, you were exceptional with your students. And
They still
Yeah.
They still
him,
going.
and they go even to the Cuban club.
yeah.
And they're voting for Trump. Can you believe that?
And I wouldn't be surprised if he got the students from the good side of Long Beach, and Maria probably got the students from the bad side of Long Beach. Just like the paper
No,
route.
Yo tenía clase de 8 a 12, viernes, sábado de 8 a 12. Una era de payroll, otra era de contabilidad. Entonces yo de 8 a 11 teníamos current events y siempre terminábamos en la política. Entonces yo les hablaba del minimum wage, todas estas cosas, cómo todo afecta a todo. Entonces todos se me quedaban dormidos ahí, yo no sé si me estaban o estaban aburridos de mi speech. Entonces, bueno, hablábamos así, yo les preguntaba todas esas cosas. Entonces yo les hablaba, después levantaba uno la mano y me decía, teacher, but I need a job. How can I get a job? Y le digo, oh, ¿cómo se llama?
Call Obama.
Yo le decía, call Washington, call Obama, he promised you a job. Call Obama, he promised everybody a job. Not me, because I already have a job. I don't care about Obama, because I already have a job. He never got me anything. But maybe he can get you guys a job. And then we got started like that. And they kind of look at me, and I thought maybe they'll complain someday, you know, to Nilo or something.
Yeah, I used to send people to me. I remember that.
But they hired me right out of college. IT Imperial in Downey. I was there for 4 or 5 years. From there, I quit, and I went to work for California Sports, which owned the Lakers and the Kings. I was their assistant controller for 4 years. And I ran the accounting department, and I also ran all the contracts. I was in charge of all the players' contracts, the hockey players and the basketball players. And then from there, I went to Belgium. No, we moved to Florida. We moved to Texas, but she was transferred to Texas at the Space Center. She was an attorney for NASA. So I went over there. Then instead of working, they offered me a job for an airline company as an auditor in South America, and I said no, that's too far. So I became a loan officer in Houston, not knowing anything about loans. Well, I knew a little about loans because I bought a couple of houses, but never worked at it. And I became their #1 lender in the state of Texas. And then from there we moved to Florida for 3 years. In Florida we moved back to LA. I went to work for Dempton at an architectural company. And then from there I went to work for BP for 18 years as an assistant controller. And then from there I quit. I was tired of accounting, traveling, supervising 20 people, managing too many people. I stressed out all the time, you know, working too many hours, until 8 o'clock at night, traveling. So I quit, and that's when through Maria and him, I went to work for the school. And I didn't know, I never taught school.
That's when you met me.
Yeah,
I was
met
going to
you.
say,
And you're stress
what's
free.
your
Oh.
better half?
I met her, and I told her, I said, I'm so tired of this work, I don't know if I'm going to last any longer. So she said, quit, because you don't have a kid, you're not married. You got money saved, you can do all this other things you can do. So one day I faxed her an email and I said, hey, I just quit. How do
No,
you
I
like it?
told him, don't call me to bother me with your problems, because I have plenty of my own. So if you want to quit, quit. And if you don't want to quit and you want to continue to complain, don't talk to me until you do. So I just hung
You
up.
took your advice.
Good.
That's it. So like half an hour later, he says, go look at I just faxed you over the letter of resignation. I said, are you kidding me?
And then my boss didn't want me to quit. I said, oh no, I gotta quit. I gotta get out of here. I'll take a month off. I said, no, I don't care if I take a year. I'm not gonna come back. And then I started teaching. My first job was a kindergarten teacher.
Kindergarten teacher?
Kindergarten. So I taught kindergarten Kindergarten.
And they loved him.
Kindergarten.
Let me tell you.
Kindergarten for 6 months.
There's a curriculum that they gotta go by, right?
Oh, I
Right,
broke the
Doris?
curriculum.
Okay, so, the curriculum, he said, okay, so we're gonna do this, boom, 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 boom. Now we're gonna talk about the clock. You're gonna know the clock, you're gonna know how to tell the time, north, east, west, south, and he taught them that. What else did you teach them?
I taught him
The numbers,
how to
add and subtract.
Multiply.
The money, how to make change. None of that was included in the.
The lady told me, you gotta read so many books and this and that. I said, they already know the books by memory. They know the red dog, the other dog, this dog.
This dog, that dog.
So I told them what I thought they need, you know, so they really loved me. So one day, when the regular teacher came, you know, they told me, oh, your day is over, Friday's your last day. Fine, so the regular teacher came, and then they saw me.
Freddie.
Credentials is credential for what? He said, for what? I says, I don't know, I'm teaching at junior college, but I don't have a credential, I don't need a, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you need adult education. I said, how do I get that? So he told me what I had to do. So next day I did everything he told me. I said, bring cash, don't bring checks, because I don't take checks, and then I'll bring a money order. So I did everything he did, bring your grades, bring everything. So he hired me, once I get it, you get a letter. He hired me on the spot, and I was there for 15 years. 15 years, so I taught over there 16 hours, and I taught 29 hours over here, so I taught.
You know, you had a more than a full-time job.
Yeah, I had a full-time job.
Then you mean that he's a keeper. Everybody wants to keep him.
But I
always wanted to keep him.
But I love it. You know what? You know, it's like the day that you work, but if you love your work, you don't work. You know, you don't.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I enjoy my job, except when I had an asshole sometimes in my classroom. You know, we had to talk. You know, I always read in the riot act. You can tell once you get experience, it's amazing. Who do you know? The first day you can tell. The first day you can tell who the asshole is. You know, so they start looking at you the wrong way, or they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. And then you're trying to get rid of them, you know. So you put them on the spot many times, you know. The first day, second day, you put them on the spot, so they kind of weed
So
themselves
how
out.
quickly we learned, because I remember when he first got the job at the.
Mano era Manolo de mi mamá o
Sí,
era
mano y
aquel?
mamá, mano y mamá.
So era Manolo. Pero ellos, tú sabes, mi mamá fue la amiga, mejor amiga de Feria.
Sí.
Y Pepito, eso. Siempre.
Bueno, el 90% del tiempo está sonriendo y tú sabes, tú ves a... Entonces, de vez en cuando tú ves a Fernando serio, right? Fernando serio, entonces tú ves que Fernando viene hacia ti y tú dices, oh my God, ¿qué es lo que pasó? Y entonces te hace así un whisper y te dice el mejor chiste que tú nunca has oído en tu vida. Te digo, cuando usted venga a Fernando serio, es que el chiste es bueno. Dios te bendiga, Fernando.
Qué cantidad de
Bueno, yo conozco a Fernando hace muchos años, desde los 70, y conocí a Fernando, un hombre gentil, una persona muy bondadosa. Conocí a Fernando en una fiesta cubana y luego de ahí nos hicimos varios amigos, Roberto Bon, Elio Martínez, Director, el grupo Argentina, el grupo chileno, muchísimas personas. Esto en los 70, por allá por Long Beach, Huntington Beach. Y Fernando siempre fue un gentil hombre, un hombre increíble, un hijo excelente. Todavía me acuerdo de su mamá, Ofelia y Salvador, que eran grandes personas y siempre se le extraña mucho. Fue un gran hijo, un gran hermano. Tuvo el honor de conocer a su hermano, el padre, Salgado, que también él era amigo de mi primo que vive en Miami, mi hermano también era sacerdote. Entonces teníamos muchísimas cosas en común, pero los dos éramos muy parranderos. Nos encantaba escaparnos a Miami, irnos aquí y allá, y todos los días vamos a salir a hacer esto y lo otro. Y Fernando siempre, las mujeres la caían atrás, pero él era un santo, él izquierdo. Pero él se estaba preparando para el gran amor de su vida que ha sido él mismo. Y Fernando, si era Miami mañana, vámonos para allá, para, ¿cómo se llamaba? Biscayne. Biscayne. Las mujeres se derretían en aquella época, pero él no caía. Una señora un día, ¿te acuerdas de Georgina, que vino con los zapatos se fue tan
Al
rápido.
revés, y los zapatos diferentes.
Iba a comer y se equivocó y se puso diferentes zapatos y así. Pero bueno, Fernando, ¿qué puedo decir? Entonces, la otro aspecto de Fernando, muy bueno con los bienes raíces. Le vendió un amigo mío, el doctor Montalbán, unos edificios y tenía unos problemas con los inquilinos. Le digo, bueno, Fernandito, ¿qué tú haces? Y yo agarro mi bate y voy y lo saco. ¿Qué he dicho? Ni un carajo. Yo cojo el bate y lo saco de allá. Y ese era Fernandito. Las argentinas de todo Orange County se derretían, pero él no caía. Él decía, yo casarme yo, ni loco, nunca en la vida. Tiene que ser que me encuentre una gran mujer para hacerlo. Y bueno, yo supe porque yo me fui del centro escolástico donde enseñó con Nilo y a través de mí pues conoció Nilo que era ya amigo mío y todo eso y realmente yo sabía de los estudiantes, el gran orador, el gran profesor, el gran maestro y los incentivos, porque Fernando, no hay nada que Fernando no tocara que no lo hiciera bien hecho. Siempre fue un gran contador, una gran persona, un gran amigo, en todos los aspectos de la... El único problema es que es republicano, pero bueno, eso hay que perdonarlo.
Lo mejor que tiene.
Wrong place, wrong place.
Intento hacerse un brindis para Fernando porque es una gran persona, un gran amigo y sus amigos de Orange County todos lo quieren mucho. Elio, la esposa, los argentinos y muchas personas, pues todos nos hemos crecido, hemos ido en diferentes direcciones, ¿no? Pero lo queremos mucho y respetamos mucho y ha sido un gran honor en la vida.
No conozco, yo soy William García, todo el mundo me conoce como Phil. Yo soy el hijo de Raquel y Cheche, el hermano de Manolo y Saladita. Y Vertiga, quiero darte las gracias for reaching out to me. And I wouldn't miss it for the world. And Fernando, I'm so glad to see you after so many years. And the rest of the friends that are here, you know, and listening to your story is very motivating and touching because at the end of the day, we are about what we give back to the world. And I can see, you know, the stories that you did some amazing things. So, felicidades, pero, you know, my recollection of Fernando, it goes back with Kookie and I. You know, I remember we used to look at Fernando and we always wanted to be like Fernando because Fernando had a beautiful girlfriend, he had a beautiful car, he would give us rides in his Mustang, you know, and to school on occasion. And, you know, and I also remember a person that was very dear to me, Ofelia, right? Ofelia Salgado. Great, great lady. She was always giving me food, giving me cake. I mean, she's just wonderful. I have vague memories of your father, a little bit, you know, but I know that he was very close with my mom and dad. They would talk a lot, and, you know, when you heard about La Familia Salgado, it was a good family, you know. And I always crack up because we always call Fernando Maleta. How did we give him the nickname Maleta?
Cuando yo era chiquito, pues yo soy Cookie Luciano, mis padres eran José, Cuco y Berta Luciano. Y mi primo Wally Luciano y Fernando eran como hermanos y los dos eran como mi hermano grande. Y cuando yo era chiquito, los dos me llevaban a jugar pelota. Y Fernando me decía, oye, tú te mueves como una maleta, cucaracha. Me mandó cucaracha. O me llamaba cucaracha o maleta. Y también Fernando me llevaba a todos, cuando salían los James Bond movies, siempre venía en su Mustang, me llevaba a montar caballos, ¿te acuerdas? Íbamos a montar caballos, siempre, nunca faltaba, no, venía, me buscaba a montar caballos, a los juegos de pelotas. Era como un hermano grande, entre él, Wally y Pepe, el primo de Pepe Braña, que es otro hermano mío.
Pepe, no, está bien, no hay problema. Fernando, you know, if I could describe Fernando, there was a program, for many years we all saw it growing up, it was called Happy Days.
Yeah.
And there was a main character on there, the Fonz, remember? Right there. The
Pero otra cosa que Fernando Salgado, cuando yo estaba chiquito, mi mamá estaba enferma, cada vez que yo iba a la casa me sentaban, me decían algo para comer y me trataban como un hijo.
Y el plan, y el plan.
Sí, el fan, sí. Sí. Thank you, Fernando.
Great to see you.
Hanging out, and it was so much fun. We had such a happy group that it was incredible. I had the opposite of the Mustang.
Y
I
a él
had
tenía, él
Corvettes.
tenía el Corvette. No, yo vemos que tenía el Corvette. Y tiene que ver con un Corvette diferente.
Yeah.
He just didn't have one Corvette, he had several Corvettes.
Él tenía several Corvettes.
A lot of Corvettes. But I just remember, all the fun times we had. And
Y él era callado, yo me acuerdo que iba a los paris callados. Y se paraba.
I only opened my mouth to tell jokes.
Se paraba, no se paraba.
No, pero
En la
eso
botella de cerveza.
Óyeme, tú hacías de ambulancia. Tú hacías el río de ambulancia.
Oh,
¿Te
sí.
acuerdas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching you do it now. I remember that. You must have been quiet, but you did that. That was funny.
Nunca lo vi hacer así.
But it was a lot of fun. I also stayed away from the pictures.
Sí, él estaba siempre pegadito por allá.
You used to wear those glasses.
Ah, lo
Yeah, I
oscuro
wore-
No se le
eso.
veían los
Yeah,
ojos.
No se le veían los ojos.
Yeah, because I had to wear glasses.
A mí no se me olvida que un día estábamos ahí, en una fiesta ahí, y él estaba con el pelo oscuro, eso así, parado así, con el traje negro. Y dice uno que estaba ahí, no sé ni quién era, dice, oye, el tipo ese que está en la puerta parece un siniestro.
Yeah, but it was. I remember.
No, pero pasábamos bien,
It was a lot of
pasábamos bien.
fun.
We had a good time.
And
We were all young.
he had his car, he had a special, because he's a gadget man. This guy's a gadget man.
What?
A gadget.
Oh,
You're a gadget.
yeah, oh yeah.
He had his car, he had a gadget that he would disconnect the muffler from the engine, and then he bypass all and then to show off, he'd be driving down the street. I mean, when a car doesn't use a muffler, it's horrendous. It's illegal, actually.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
No, pero la pasábamos bien.
But that's what I remember. And, when they told me that they were having to get together, I said, I gotta go and try and remember it.
Después no quiere contar, pero esto hace como 40 años ya.
Yo voy a decirlo tú.
No, pues déjame decir una cosa que indica a Fernando que nunca se lo digo. No, la gracia ahora, desde el año 2008, cuando mi papá falleció y fuimos del entierro a la casa mía, y lo primero que hiciste tú es empezarme a decir chico. Y eso me salvó porque yo estaba en un agujero. Vaya, yo no sabía dónde yo estaba. Sí, y eso me trajo a la realidad. Y tú me empezaste a hacer chistes y yo a reírme. Y te doy las gracias. Por eso lo empezamos. Y la otra es tus padres. Tenía mucho afecto porque yo fui la última que llegué, en realidad, cuando me casé con Agustín. Y me trataron con mucho cariño siempre y siempre los recuerdo con mucho afecto. Y hasta el tanto que todos los Halloween, la primera persona, cuando nació el primer hijo de nosotros, Austin, cuando era un bebito, lo disfrazamos, la primera persona que íbamos a ver era Ofelia y tu papá, y se lo ponía y nos escondíamos, lo poníamos al niño en el car seat, disfrazadito, de gato, de conejito, lo que fuera. Y ellos abrían la puerta y se lo encontraban. Y aquello era tan... Y tus padres se reían tanto con aquello.
No.
Y nosotros.
Salgado primero dice, baby, después dice, Ofelia, ¿qué es esto? Porque vive en una casa nice, ¿ves? Todavía tiene la casa nice. Y el viejo tuyo dice, Ofelia, ¿qué hemos entregado? Bueno, volviendo, yo acerca de tus padres siempre estamos agradecidos porque fuimos la primera, los bajos venimos a California por ellos. Y muchos años vivimos al lado tuyo. Así que gracias, y Ofelia, pasamos en los Estados Unidos con un U-Haul de la Carolina y tu mamá nos está esperando con un jabón.
el jamón más rico que yo he probado en mi vida. Así que muchas gracias. Ahora, un poquitico acerca del carácter de Fernando, porque también sabiendo quién es Fernando. Recuerdo una vez que lo invitamos cuando ya habíamos mejorado, en el barquito mío dimos una vuelta por la bahía. Entonces Fernando la pasó muy bien todo y cuando estábamos llegando a un lugar atracamos, le digo, Fernando, por favor, tú sabes, empujó el bote y lo empujó tan bien que cayó en el medio de la bahía.
¿Y el barco él?
No, yo lo empujé el bote para allá.
Oh, te fuiste de
Salió, me quedé así en el bote, así en el agua. Y ya, el bote se iba hasta que yo me caí.
Y se cayó.
Y Agustín se fue.
Estaba el agua esa candela, ¿verdad?
Ha sido un placer estar al lado de Fernando Salgado.
So I'm probably the most unlikely person to win this presentation. I consider myself the party crasher here. I don't go way back with Fernando as some of you, however, I'm delighted to do this for you. So talking to the great organizer, Benfica, thank you so much. She actually follows through to the point that she'll wobble, she'll limp, she'll crawl, but she'll go to the finish line. So thank you for that. So then in talking to her 2 days ago, I said a few little anecdotes about you. And she immediately said, oh, perfect, you're going to end it. And I go, oh, jeez. And then I'm thinking, I'm in my big mouth again. But it's okay, I don't have a problem. Like I say, I'm a teacher, I'm used to speaking. I speak a little bit, I can speak to all of you. So anyhow, okay, I probably became part of this groovy group. And the person that nicknamed this was Maritere.
Yeah.
She nicknamed the groovy group. And this was 1969. And although I did not go through any crazy initiation to be in the groovy group, I became a full-fledged member in 1970. So here it goes. I met Fernando in one of those famous parties where many of us were not invited, and yet somehow we all showed up. Remember those days? Because we would be calling each other por la mañana, oye, hay un party, yo sí, vamos allá, vaya. Oye, mi mamá me decía, ¿qué estás hablando? No, no, que hay una fiesta, otra fiesta, todos los sábados. Sí, sí. Ya me invitaron, it was all alike because we never got invited to any of those. Back then, our parents only trusted the Cuban kids, and they were okay to, they gave us our blessing if we went to a Cuban home because they thought they're safe, and little did they know. Our great friend Lalo, who is not here right now, would load, he was the only one that had a license. Our great friend Lalo took his cars, most of us girls, y parecíamos sardina en lata, because we just packed in his car. By then, I was pursuing my lovely husband, Jorge, so I never miss an opportunity to go to his legendary parties. And the first thing he does, so the first time I walk to a party, I see Fernando, and the first thing he does, he gives me that great big smile of yours, and he has this cute little cuteness of high school, like a high school kid kind of thing. And yeah. Lost my way. That became a magnet for many gals. Sorry, one of those girls was my American friend Linda. And yes, she fell in love with him, so he had a thing with all the girls and necessarily not all Cuban girls. His quick and corny jokes were and still are the highlight of any party. We heard a lot of you say that. Okay, so here it goes, the real version. Whenever I saw Fernando, right by his side was Marcelo. There was no Fernando without Marcelo. You guys are always like this. And there was no Marcelo without Fernando. Marcelo. Marcelo was the philosopher, the genius, the observer, in summary, kind of the outlier of the group. That was my observation. And Fernando, not. They were either the odd couple or the perfect couple. So in the party, I would see Fernando alone, and I wonder, where's Marcelo? His other half, lo and behold, you would appear magically. Really, a great true friendship. But actually, no. there was a third wheel, and that was my great friend Agustin. So Agustin was there right along with both of you, or by himself with you. So in a sense, you were cheating on him. Okay. So actually, Fernando, really, we were all great friends, and we always had each other's back. Although this, okay, so I just want to close this by saying, once again, although the song Fernando by ABBA is about a battlefield and so more, that I don't know what the war was, the last line of that song goes, yes, if I had to do the same again, I would, my